Hello there, Ray here. We have a brand new 1.18 snapshot. This is 21W40A. There's a lot of big changes in this one, including changes to mob spawning and world generation, plus some changes for that deep dark biome. The first change they did is come in with a new ore distribution throughout the 1.18 worlds. They did this to make mining using the branch mining method down deep more rewarding. So you can see down here they came in and added in, so there is extra gold that generates below Y level -48. We also get the thickest part of diamonds down here and for redstone as well. This is probably anticipation for the Warden mob, which is going to be down low. So maybe it's kind of to entice players to be down here where the Warden actually is, rather than just mining at Y level 0 or slightly above, which is currently the best place to mine, as you hit pretty much every single ore. As you will now hit every single ore, even including emeralds. Notice that emeralds comes down into the deep slate, so now we can get our deep slate emeralds once again. I know in the past I talked about how they are quite rare to start with, but then they were discontinued in the early snapshots. But I told you guys not to worry because they would bring them back, so they wouldn't be a discontinued item. So once again, you can get them in survival. But they also increased the amount of diamonds overall. They also came in with iron ore and added a big chunk above Y level 0. So the higher you go up in a mountain, the more likely you're to actually find iron ore. So really tall mountains have a really good chance, which is kind of cool. So you should be able to get every single type of deep slate variation of ore. I believe we also found coal and deep slate variations. But it's, yeah, you can see it's going to be extremely rare to find. And as always, they always leave these little hidden messages inside of these pictures. This one here says, "Someday I'm going to run out of space to hide these messages." And there's also another message right down here. This is not a secret message. They updated how many raw ore you get out of copper blocks now. Before it was between 2 to 3 items, but now it's 2 to 5. So with fortune, you can get a ton of copper. And I'm in a dripstone biome, so there's even more around in this area. And just like you can use a crafting table to get 4 cut copper, you can now also use a stone cutter to get cut copper. But the advantage is that 1 copper block produces 4 cut copper blocks. They fixed the problem where, like, as you go up, you could actually reach different biomes above other biomes. So it could be like jungle down here, and then like the top of this jungle tree could be savanna, make it look really weird. They went ahead and completely removed that, so the biome is going to be the same no matter how high or low you go. The only exception is the cave biomes. These biomes will still cut off when you move upwards. You'll also notice that they came in and tweaked the size of biomes to make it similar to like 1.17. So that means they're going to be a little bit bigger than what we've seen in previous snapshots. They also came in with some new names for the biomes. So now there's Jagged Peaks, which are the ones with the snow. There's also Frozen Peak, which are the ones with ice. Old Growth Birch Forest, which is your birch forest. There's also Old Growth Pine Taiga, as well as the Spruce variation. Sparse Jungle, which are your jungle edges. There's also Windswept Forest, which are the new name for the extreme hills. There's a gravel variation of them. There's also the hills variation of them. There's a savanna version of it. They also fixed some issues with aquifers, so now they should be a bit nicer. They also came in and increased the frequency of magma blocks within the aquifers. They also added in more dungeons, especially below Y level 0. Currently, they seem like they're a little bit broken. They don't have any chests inside them. But this might be anticipation for the deep dark biome. Give more life to the bottom part of the world. They also reverted it, so now gravel can once again generate below Y level 0. They probably did this because the grays from the gravel kind of match the other stuff that's down here, including the deep slate and the tough block. Look at this lovely geode almost completely hanging out over top of this massive cave. Probably one of the biggest changes is that they came in and removed the water lake features. You won't find any of those little teeny water lakes that you could Optifine on the surface. We can still find the lava ones, but they said they did this because the aquifers and all the other water sources are going to be kind of the replacement for those. They also made a change to villages. Now they're going to be a bit more spread out between themselves. This is probably to prevent some of the kind of double villages that you could find near each other. They made a change to how axolotls can spawn in. Now, last change they made was that they had to spawn inside of lush caves, and it only was in this biome. But now they made another change. It has to be with clay blocks underneath them, when before it could be any type of stone. So this really isolates where exactly axolotls can spawn in. They won't be found inside of most kind of aquifers. They also made a change to the glow squid spawns, so now these guys will only spawn below Y level 30 and only inside of water blocks. Plus, they made changes to how the other water mobs spawn. Cod, salmon, pufferfish, tropical fish, squid, and dolphins now only spawn in water from height 50 to height 64, which is sea level. So you can no longer put like my dolphin farm way at the bottom of the world, or put like my fish farms up in the air and have them work. They all have to be right around the sea level. So just make sure you place in my farms at this level. Here's some other weird things to do with the dungeons. It looks like I cut this water so it's floating there. This one does have chests, and the skeletons have their bows back again. Tropical fish also have their spawns updated, so now they can spawn in lush caves at any height. That should bring some life down to this lower depths. They once again changed it back so that zombies can spawn inside of the dripstone caves again, but drowns can also spawn in here. They also reverted back the elytra changes so that even gliding with your elytra will still use durability up, just like it did in 1.17. They said they reverted this as well as the zombies because they didn't have time to fully test it for these 1.18 cave update, which makes you think they're gonna start working on 1.19 really soon, or the Warden is just going to take up all their time. There's some of our deep slate emeralds. Oh, this is such a cool dungeon. These stony peak biomes, which have no snow on them, will no longer have goats spawn on them. Another change is they came in and improved the AI for the villagers, the piglin brutes, the piglins, the goat, the hoglin, the zoglin, and even the axolotl. All these mobs have in common is that they like to target different things and how they pathfind in order to do that. So I'm really excited that this will have a lot better performance when dealing with these guys. They also came back in and added so that the bedrock layers are the same per world seed. So we can actually determine them by using calculations. So if you know the seed, you could also search for a specific bedrock formation. I've done a lot of cool things with different types of bedrock formations, including designing my famous wither cage, my highly used automatic wither killers, which are present in my beacon farm, and other things like bedrock vaults. The Mojang developers also fixed a few bugs to do with different things that caused problems in the previous snapshot, so let's take a look at those. They fixed the performance issues with having a large amount of axolotls. This is great for my axolotl farm, which does produce a whole bunch of them. They also fixed performance issues with goats, meaning I guess we can start up my goat farm again. There was a weird bug that opening up commands and putting information inside didn't actually show you anything, but once it was powered, it actually produced stuff. Banners without patterns were showing up invisible until you reload the world. Treasure maps and explorer maps weren't showing up properly. When updating 1.12 worlds into the newest snapshot, it would sometimes regenerate random chunks. Taiga biomes got overloaded with the sweet berries, and now they got dialed back again. Cave vines could occasionally generate without the very tip of them, which sort of made them look like they were coming out of the ground rather than the ceiling, and they resolved this. They fixed this bug where mobs would constantly bob their heads up and down while tracking a player. Swamp biomes were generating with too few of the orchid flowers, but in the new snapshot this is fixed. In 1.7.0 they tried to fix this bug to do with patches of snowy grass that don't have snow layers on top. They also tried fixing it in 1.7.1, but it kept coming back, so they went ahead and fixed it again today. In the past, there was sand and gravel around these pools on their surface, and this was accidentally removed, so they brought it back. They also came in and fixed it so that plants don't try generating on top of each other near the lake. This is something I showcased in the past where you can actually get triple tall grass or fern, so maybe something rare to collect before updating. They also fixed this problem where you would find like seeds or flowers around these pools because they would pop off and then the item would be sitting there floating. So now they changed it so that the game won't put them in the first place. This includes a fix so that there's no more floating vegetation over water. So if you have some of these in your world, make sure to keep them safe because they are now a rare block. They also addressed this problem here. You see these kind of weird looking walls that are scattered across in sort of a line. This is actually a mini aquifer and it left these remnants behind, but this is now fixed in a new version. It fixed a problem where the bottoms of aquifers would sometimes have blocks missing, causing the aquifer to spew water into other caves, causing quite a mess. That has now changed. I personally think these kind of aquifers that have these abrupt edges look really nasty, especially when they just cut off, like, even if this was full, just being like that and then having this overhang, it just looks so unpleasing. So I hope they find a way to kind of like smooth those out. Something I talked about in previous snapshots is that in this locate biome command, you can still locate old biomes, and these biomes no longer exist, so they can't be found. So they went ahead and removed all these old biomes that aren't being used anymore, and this is the list of them. Essentially, there's replacements for all of these, but they're using the new terrain generation. Now, because of the new mountains that they came out with, Extreme Hills, we're supposed to be converted to being called Extreme Hills again. Except they are still called mountains inside of the game. And you can see this when I search for them and also in the F3 screen. So now this has been changed, and now only the big ones are the mountains. They also came in and fixed the problem where the biome Mountain Edge didn't exist, so they added it in. They resolved this problem where vines were generating, being placed directly through water. Pretty funny stuff, but it's now fixed. Now, 2 videos ago, I did a snapshot review, and I thought that they were going to come out with a toggle option to let you either convert your old worlds to have the new caves underneath, or leave it void underneath. And this was based off of some toggle options that they talk about, but I later said that this wasn't probably going to come into the game because the toggle option was actually for a bedrock just to get to the overall new deep caves. But it turns out that King B-Dubs did put a message out on Discord kind of saying that they were going to add in a toggle option so that you can either choose to have the new deep caves underneath your worlds or not. And this made the most sense as they typically don't want to mess up people's world. And that's why they normally leave the old chunks alone and only put the new stuff into the new chunks. So this is kind of a new thing that they're doing where they're actually changing the old chunks, but it's an option, so don't worry about it. If you don't want your worlds to have the new deep caves, you want to leave your bedrock there and have just air underneath, that is going to be an option. But how they implement it in, we'll see, but it should be exciting, and hopefully that kind of settles everybody's nerves. Check out this playlist here to see cool glitches in Minecraft, and check out this playlist here to see how you can automatically get almost every item in the game in Minecraft. And remember, I live stream every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I would like to thank all you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!